Yo, Beth, that shit crazy.
We are live. Welcome to the All Even Podcast. My name is Barry Grant Jr. You can catch me on Instagram at All Even Podcast, on X at All Even Podcast, on TikTok, All Even Media. You can listen to the show on Podbeam as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm all over the place. Hit the YouTube subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Tell a friend to tell a friend because the page is growing. There's no claw yet. He might show up, he might not. I don't know. But Silent Assassin is here. What's up, man?
Not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good week?
Yeah. Had some events, but it was more low key, I guess.
Listen, you just be all over the place. You know,
Yeah.
so I'll be trying to tap in with you sometimes. You're just too busy for people. You know?
Sometimes, yeah.
Claw's not happy about it. You know, he's not happy that he can't check in with you anymore. He's just like, oh, I don't know where she's at. So, you know, it's what happens when you start to expand and grow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to see it. You know, and you can leave Claw on red. It's fine. I had a day. You know, sometimes you can do so many things that it tends to feel like multiple days in one day. Like, I don't know how that can possibly happen. Like, I woke up early this morning and I felt like I did so much. And I still have to do this show. So it is what it is. I have my crazy kitten down here. She's ripping up the studio, and it is what it is. Lots to get into, though. There's a lot of NBA news. We're going to discuss, what do we have on deck here? Let's go ahead and see that. We have, so the NFL stuff, we got Jets watch, all the stuff that's going on with the Jets, the GM, they had a meeting or an interview or a press conference at the Combine. We're going to discuss that. Woody Johnson graded the worst owner in the NFL. What gave it away? Giants really zoning in on Matt Stafford, but he also had some conversation with some other team as well. And there's another guy that I said would be perfect for the Giants that actually reported might have reached out. So we're going to discuss that. Talk about those Lakers. Talk about Luka. Talk about him dazzling those Mavericks. It was a great performance. Joel Embid with his knee issues. It continues. Zion Williamson is down to 260 pounds. Shouts to him. Paul George. There's a lot to talk about with Paul George, and it's so interesting. So interesting. The Knicks. I have an issue with the Knicks. Not really the Knicks, but how they are designed to get through the season, and they might have some big concerns. Gregg Popovich news. There's an update on him. Mets. We got to talk about our Mets, right? See exactly how the Mets are doing. Yankees have big news. Not really big news, but they go ahead and extend their coach. So we're going to see how that unfolds, talk about how that's a good thing or a bad thing for Yankee fans and, the Yankees organization, and if they should move on. But, my irrelevant news of the week. And then the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week.
Dummy, yeah.
Now, before we get into everything, obviously, the big news today, Gene Hackman dies at, 95. What a great actor Gene Hackman was. Like, I remember Gene Hackman in the Superman movies when I was a kid as Lex Luthor, and then, he's been in pretty much everything. He was in The Replacements. A lot of people remember him from that. Hoosiers. There's so many different movies that he's iconic in. And, two-time Oscar winner. Just a really great talent and one of the pillars of our acting universe. So, when the reports and the news came down that he passed, man, it was just like, when you think about 95, it's just like, all right, lived a full life, 95. I'd be lucky if I see 95. Listen, if I'm 95, I'm not wearing pants. I'm doing whatever the hell I want to do at 95. So the fact that he was still up and about, shouts to him. All of that stuff was just regular reporting. But then all the other stuff came out. And I'm just like, okay, well, they said that they found Gene Hackman, his wife, and the dog all gone. And the first thing that pops into my head is, sounds like carbon monoxide poisoning. That happens, right? Sleeping, there's a leak somewhere, you never even know what's going on, and you just never wake up. Okay. Well, they said that there was no gas leaks. I said, can't be foul play. 'Cause, why? They said that, they don't suspect foul play. All right. Then what is it? So I know you were talking, you have a little bit more information on this silent assassin, so please divulge, because I have nothing to say, because I don't know what it possibly could be. If there's no gas leaks, if they say that there's no foul play, I can understand Gene Hackman passing, but everybody gone?
Yes,
I don't get that.
It's definitely weird. Like, obviously, the assistant or one of his workers had called in the morning and then had said that they were passed away. And a detective that was on the scene was like, this is suspicious.
Right.
Of how apparently Gene was in a completely different room, and his wife was on the floor, and there were some pills scattered around her, and then like 10 to 15 feet away from her was the dog. And there were some other things in the home like moved around. I said the door was open, and there was another dog on the premise, like just wandering around. It was alive. So the detective said that he's obviously going to be looking into it, so it's an open investigation.
You gotta be.
It's just very, very strange.
This is one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. Like, I just don't. It don't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It has to be foul play.
Yeah. But it's like also why? We don't know like what's going on in their lives of who would do something like this. Like
obviously he's a celebrity. He's rich, right? He has money. So I mean the first thing that you can be able to kind of like think about is, okay, this is the burglary and something went awry and whatever. But it's really sad because like I said, on the face of it, you can be sad because you're a fan, you're appreciative of the work that he's done and what he's contributed to society in regards to all of that stuff. But then this kind of just muddies all of that shit. You know what I mean? It's just, it sucks to know that this might have been how he went out, him and his wife, that there was some foul play. And that's just really bad that somebody would actually prey on a 95-year-old man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However old his wife was, the dog. Like, it's just, that's really, really tough to even, like, comprehend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like they haven't mentioned it. Like, if they were, I think they, like, looked physically fine. Like, they did start to, like, decompose.
Right.
But as, like, first initial glance, there was no, like, wounds or anything that I seen.
Did they say that, do they have, like, an estimate in regards to how long they were there before they were discovered?
I believe it's like a couple days, like a week or two, like around something like that. But like also too, like it's just kind of weird how I was like, I don't know how the assistant or his worker who saw them maybe like wasn't getting phone calls. Like I don't know how in touch they are and stuff. So maybe that's why he decided to show up to the house. But it's just like other family members, like you don't hear from them for, I mean, if it was up to 2 weeks, I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't hear from a family member within like a day or so, like I'm kind of like, oh, what's going on? This is weird. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess time will tell.
Nah, of course. I mean,
is.
do they have kids? Because at this point, everybody's a POI. Whoever is in their, stratosphere of, their circle of people is a person of interest at this point. You know what I mean? I watch too many crime docs. I know the lingo, I know it all. But yeah, it's just, really, really unfortunate to hear those that report and this news. And I'm a big movie guy, so just thinking about Gene Hackman and all the great movies that he was in, man. Shouts to him, and my thoughts and prayers go out to his remaining family. And I hope that there was no foul play, but if there is, I hope that they can be able to get to the bottom of this very soon, because it's just not a way that you want to remember how somebody went out. You know what I mean? If there is something foul going on. So what a way to segue and move on. Joy Taylor has been missing on her show as a co-host, Speak, on FS1 for 3 days. And people are thinking, is she on vacation? Nah, she might be on vacation, but not the vacation that people want her to be on. Like, it might be one of those situations where I think Fox kind of said, all right, there's some traction going on here with this lawsuit, with this defamation lawsuit or whatever it is. And if they're a big conglomerate, of course they are, they're going to want to distance themselves as much as they possibly can. So when it was reported, I know that a lot of people were like, oh, she's a woman, and, she can be able to have a situation with whoever she wants to have a situation with, and I don't understand why it's such a big deal, blah, 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 all of these things. And it's just like, yeah, I get that. But when there's some other stuff going on, in regards to when there's some other person involved and they feel like something was going on where they had to be forced to do something or they were told, now it gets muddied. Now it looks like there's some manipulation and some other stuff going on. And, you never want to have that type of image for somebody, and you never want this type of thing to come out, especially in a workplace. So originally, yes, it is her privacy in regards to who she wants to sleep with and all that stuff. If she want to live foul and, sleep with whoever she was sleeping with when she was married, cool. But there's a lot of moving parts here, man. And this might be a wrap for her. Now, I remember we were talking about this a while ago, Silent Assassin. So thoughts on if this is the end of Joy Taylor on FS1, or is this just a way for them to maybe lay low, like have her lay low for a while until it blows over? Because these things tend to do that sometimes. So, what do you think it is? Do you think that it's them saying, okay, we've made a decision, we haven't made it official yet? Or is this something like, hey, listen, just kind of lay low for a while and then we can be able to kind of resurface you at a later point?
I think it's definitely damage control to kind of, obviously for the platform to have like its reputation and whatnot, but also too, like, from I remember she had said like, oh, like if he tries to do something, just say he came on to like,
which is foul.
That's I feel like a charge.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
So having that in the workplace, I feel like is not a situation you want to have or something you want to teach, especially the whole Me Too movement and what women have been through in that type of workplace. For you to do that is crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
So I feel like she shouldn't really be allowed back in the door. So
yeah. I mean, listen, if they're gonna show her the boot, they show her the boot. It's. I think. Listen, she's she's talented. I think she has some decent takes, but if they decide to go in another direction, I think she'll be able to, create her own space. And independent media is something that's very, very big at this point. So she'll bounce back. But a lot of people were put in a bad situation. They're put in a tough spot. And if whatever she said, if that's true, obviously it's being reported, it's hearsay, but if that is true, man, like people would look at you a lot differently if that's the type of mindset that you have, where you can be able to do as much foul shit as you want to, and then if you get busted or somebody says something, you're gonna just switch up and use the SA word or phrase or whatever it is. Like that's nasty work. Mm-hmm. That's nasty. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they deserve to throw the book at you, at whatever it is, whether you got to pay a fine, whether you got to pay a civil, whatever it is, like, yeah, you deserve to catch it. You know what I'm saying? So. Because
it's obviously, if a situation does happen, it makes people question, like, oh, is this real?
Yeah.
When that shouldn't be a thing. Like, if someone brings something like that serious to the table, be like, okay, like, we believe you. Let's figure it out. But for her to just be like, oh, he just did this to me, and it's not true. It's, they're ruining the man's reputation when he's just a good guy doing everything right. Everything's like agreed upon on both parties, and then she's like, oh, well, he did this. So, and then ruin someone's whole life.
Yeah, no, it's foul. It's foul. It's definitely foul. Moving on. NBA news. Luka showed up to the garden. To Staples, to the crypto arena, and man, oh man, was it on fire. Silence has it. I watched that game and people were excited. Luka had the Jordan commercial where he switched the plates from Dallas plates to the California plate. It was fire. It set the table. You know what I'm saying? And then Nico Harrison was in the building, right? So the place that he can feel the safest, we ain't in Dallas. He can come to LA. He will always have free food in LA. Nico Harrison has a pass for life, right? You gave us Luka. Why would we ever hate you? Why? So the stage was set. It was great. And, they had a video package for AD, which was really, really cool. I love to see that. It was really, really heartfelt and it was dope. The game, Luka had a triple-double. He played well. You can tell that he was a little amped up. Didn't shoot the ball too well. He's 1 for 7 for 3. I think he was 6 for 17 from the field. Ended up with a triple-double. But, man, oh, man, LeBron James took over in the fourth quarter. I think he had 17 in the fourth. Closed it out. It was great. It's great. And the best part of the game was when the Laker fans chanted, "Thank you, Nico." That was one of the greatest chants I've ever seen. And he was in the stands. He was there. He was around Lakers fans. He was around Dallas fans. And man, oh man. Like, I've never been a part of something so shocking in my life. To know that this guy is a top 3 player in the league. And you're like, there's no way. There's no way that this would happen. No way. You can't even pull that trade off in 2K, Silence hasn't, without trade override being on. They'd laugh at you in a game. So for it to happen in real life, it's like, what? What is happening? So I will never be upset. There will never be another Laker game this season. And for the next decade, as long as he's here, then I'm upset. We got Luka. I don't care what happens after this. If LeBron sticks around and wins another championship, hey, it's great. If not, hey, Showtime is back in LA. We have it again. Luka Magic is here. I saw some video clips of when he was 14. The man was busting ass at 14. It's amazing. If he can be able to get back into some form of shape where he can be like anywhere between like 225 and 235, Luka might be a problem. Might be a problem. So as a Laker fan, I'm over the moon. They have some big games coming up. Can they finish strong? I think they're playing the T-Wolves tonight. So I want to see exactly how that game goes. I'm gonna be checking the score on my phone. You know, if you see me react in a negative way, then you know what's happening. If you see me smiling, that means that Luka's cooking. So, listen, I still think that the Lakers won this trade. I still think that the Dallas Mavericks got some great pieces. You know, AD is a really, really good player, great player when he's healthy. Obviously, he had some, unfortunate issue with them. Max Christie, good player. So they have something that they can be able to build on. And who knows what this Dallas team can look like with a full roster next season, healthy. They still have guys like Gafford out. They still have Derek Lively out. Dwight Powell came back. So, they if they can be able to figure out how to get everybody to gel this season, they might have a shot to kind of shock some people in the back end. But I think this is more of a next season thing. So I understand that Dallas fans will never, ever feel good. And this is something that they'll never get over. It's unfortunate that us as Laker fans, we can be able to celebrate and be happy and know that our franchise is in good hands. But when you look outside of that, when you step outside of that and realize that there's another fan base that's hurting, there's another fan base that's suffering, there's another fan base that's literally the infrastructure and the revenue around that team has been ripped away from it. There's no recovering. There's no getting over that. And sometimes we don't think about the residual effects of a trade. Like, as fans of a team, we just so super excited. But what about the dark side of that? Kids that they're used to seeing this guy and now he's no longer around. You have elderly people that have watched this franchise and seen great players, and now they're like, man, like it's a community loss. The whole city of Dallas feels the loss. I think this might be the biggest disappointment to happen in Dallas in regards to sports. Damn the Cowboys at this point. They've been failures for almost 30 years. Nobody cares, right? In the grand scheme of things, but losing Luka, I don't think that people will ever forget that day. They'll be talking about this 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now. And Nico Harrison will be working with the he'll be working with the Lakers by that time. But it's really, really, it's sad. It is. And I don't take it for granted that there's a lot of people that are not doing well. So that's my little somber, two-sided argument. But then there's the other side of me and I need to make sure that other side of me kind of stays in the basement sometimes, because it gets dark where I can be able to say, you know what? I might want to bathe in those Dallas tears. Because when people were saying, you had Dallas Mavericks fans criticizing us, AD is street clothes. So you guys are not going to do nothing. Oh, we got Kyrie. You guys are trying to get Kyrie and we got him. Oh. Same guys that are speaking now, I hope you're not. Because the same street clothes that you were saying that we had, you got. So, can I feel sorry for y'all? No. though. I feel sorry for the real Dallas Mavericks fans that are passionate and love their Luka and their team. But the ones that like to troll because they don't like certain players and they make fun of certain franchises and teams and fan bases, nah, I'll bathe in your tears. I'll bathe in it. Like a bird bath. That's what I'm going to do. Don't care. Don't care. Moving on. Joel Embiid, and I've talked about Joel Embiid so many times on this show, is suffering with really, really bad knee problems. And tried to play this season. He's been in and out of the lineup. He's been shut down for quite some time now. And now the rumor is that they're trying to find some ways to be able to have some unique procedures that will be able to allow him to possibly recover his career. So they're saying right now that Embiid could need radical procedures to heal the knee. So as per Marcus Hayes of the Philadelphia Inquirer, Embiid could have to undergo a procedure, 1 of 3 radical procedures to give him a chance of resuming his career at something close to full strength. Wow. The list of potential procedures includes a meniscus replacement, low-dose radiation therapy, or something known as osteotomy. Is that what it's called? Osteotomy? Yeah, whatever. Osteotomy that will require doctors to break a bone in the hip to realign the joint to alleviate pressure. Dude. Hayes noted doctors have said some of these procedures could require between 6 to 8 months to a full year. 6 months to a full year of rehab before an athlete could return to full game action. Embiid didn't play for the Sixers on Monday. They lost by 32 to the Bulls. Rubbish. This is bad. I remember I spoke about it maybe over a month ago that I think that he should consider retirement. I mean, look, try to see if you can be able to, I remember when Lonzo Ball, he tried some really out the box type of things to be able to try to resume his career, and he's back playing now. So is he ever going to be what he was? We don't know, but he's still able to resume his career. Embiid is a different level of athlete. Like this guy's a former MVP. This guy is one of the 7 most talented players I've seen in the last 25 years, right? So for a guy that size, like he's 7'2", he's 280 pounds. It's a lot of weight. Maybe he's going to have to slim down. Maybe he's going to have to change his game a little bit. But yeah, try to see what happens with these radical procedures. But if they don't work, here's the dark side of it, right? If they don't work, what's the next step? Are the Philadelphia Sixers going to, try to see if they can be able to salvage some of the money, get some of it back in regards to insurance? I'm sure they've already recouped some back, but I think instead of him trying to resume his career and try to get something out of it, it might just be better to just walk away. You know what I mean? Like, he started off his career in Kansas. He had a, really good run. He got hurt, had some foot issues. Took him a while to actually get started in the NBA. Then when he got started, he was this dynamo player, but was on a minutes restriction for years. Finally got a little over that minutes restriction and cracked through the glass ceiling, and man, he was this special player. But there was always this lingering injury bug that just kept following him. Playoffs, he would always be hurt. And at some point, your body starts to just fail. And I think that's what's going on with him right now. His body is failing him. And his days as an athlete might be finished. And at some point, he's going to have to accept it. That's the biggest thing for an athlete. It's about once you get to that point where the mind is willing, you still want to pursue your career, you still think that you can be able to push through and be helpful and still be effective. But if the body's not there, we saw Kobe Bryant's body fail him in front of us. The Achilles injury, him trying to come back, and then he hurt the knee. And then once your body starts to say, okay, I've had enough. We have been through the ringer. We've pushed through exhaustion. We've pushed through the boundaries of this particular body. You could be able to get a body transplant, hey, but this particular body has gone through the ringer. From the time that this guy was 19 years old, he's been going through it. It might be time. It's unfortunate to say. It's sad to say, because he's one of those guys that he's like, man, how special was Joel Embid? If he could have just been able to stay healthy, what would he been able to achieve in his career? If he won an MVP, not even being a healthy guy, what could he have done if he was healthy? You know, we could have been having a conversation of comparables, him and Shaq in regards to the numbers. Obviously, they're different players, but, you know, the impact of how dominant they were when they were at the top of their game. Something to discuss. So it's unfortunate that we're here, and I just think that it might be time. I just really think that it might be time. So, hold on. Bishop said that he sent me the procedure that he needs is so he said the procedure that Embiid needs is Ozempic. Be nice. All right? Be nice. He does need to lose some weight. But I could that help him? Yes, it might help him recover better. But if there's degeneration in the knees, you know, losing weight is not going to help that. Not at this point. I think that might have been a strategy 8 years ago. It ain't now. And if the 76ers are smart, they end the process. It's over for the process. That shit done. Close it up, barricade it, put some yellow tape on it, and just leave it there. You know what I mean? Under construction, or do not come in here. There's asbestos in here. This is just, it's bad, right? So, I feel bad for him, man. I really do, but I just think it's time. I just do think it's time. Sticking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh. My time has come. My time has come, Silent Assassin. I've been telling people for years. Waldo George, who? Can't find him. He's on the Clippers. Oh, yeah. Paul George, you got kids nowadays. Who's your favorite player? Paul George is one of the best players in league history. Okay. The man rather podcast than play. He's on his big-ass contract with Philadelphia 76ers, and all he does is pod. That's all he does, right? And people look at me like, oh, don't be a hater because, you know, it's the new media and blah, 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 and these players are good. Oh, okay. Well, Podcast P is putting the podcast on pause for now to focus on basketball and helping the Philadelphia 76ers win a chip. Oh, so good, so admirable at this point. It took you this long to realize that what you were doing was a detriment to your play. I see. Don't feel sorry for him. Because at the end of the day, what'd you think was going to happen? Why do people think that they can be able to do 9 things at once? If I have a profession, and I'm not saying that he doesn't work hard at his profession, he's a professional. He's an NBA player. You're at the pinnacle of your career. I'm not saying that he doesn't work hard, but when you're doing something that deviates from other things, it looks crazy. If people are going to your pod, you just went 1 for 19, and you go into your pod to talk about some other NBA shit, don't nobody want to hear that if they're a Philadelphia 76er fan. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. They want to be like, bruh, why don't you talk about how bad you played? I don't care about what your thoughts are on somebody else. What are your thoughts on yourself, being Waldo George? So for me, I've always said off season. Be in the off season. If you want a podcast in the off season, you want to do the media stuff, do that. It's fine. When the season comes in, lock in. I don't think that that's a hard ask. It's the same thing with the New York Knicks. You got Josh Hart. You have Brunson. What's his name? Brunson with the podcast. What are y'all podcasting for? Y'all got a season to play. This is New York. They'll give anything that you have that's a negative, just leave it alone. It's too much of a distraction. So all of a sudden, more than midway through the season, you now want to focus on hoops. You look stupid. So I don't feel sorry for no Paul George. And I wonder who got to him. I wonder who finally said, yo, my man, like, this looks crazy. You need to stop. Before he said, well, yeah, I'm just trying to cover the news, man. Nobody cares. Leave that to the people who got time. Jeff Teague, all these other dudes that ain't playing. They're not playing. Gilbert Arenas, let him do it. He ain't playing. He can be able to pod and have his strength. He can do whatever the hell he wants. You have an obligation to the Philadelphia 76ers. That is your job. Not that. So, do I feel sorry for him? No, I don't. Am I a fan of Paul George's game? No, I'm not. The person? Yeah. Good guy. Great story. But in regards to being one of the most overrated basketball players in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, he's up there. So, what took you so long to actually figure out that this is the right thing to do? Moving on. Zion Williamson. You know, we've been talking about this guy for how long? 3 years since you've been here. You know, that 3-year anniversary is coming up real quick, Silent Assassin. That's crazy. The reports are he's down to 264, 260 pounds. Shouts to him, man. Shouts to him. Shouts to Zion for actually getting as low as he possibly can to try to salvage his career. And listen, he still has a lot of career left. I think the expectations were too high for him. I think what people set out to have him do and make him be the face of the league and he's going to be this and that. I just don't think that that's him. It's just like Anthony Edwards, right? Anthony Edwards doesn't care to be the face of the NBA. He doesn't care to be none of that. He just wants to be the knucklehead that he is, to do all the nonsense that he wants to do and earn a check. I don't think it's that extreme with Zion. I think that he does want to make some type of an impact, but in regards to having the pressure of being the face of the league, I just don't think that that's suited for him. So the fact that he's down to 260, that shows an ability to be able to work hard, to take accountability, to be able to know exactly what your deficiencies are as a person, as an athlete, and be able to improve on those and, try to get your game to the next level. So I salute the kid, man. I salute the kid. I've been very hard on Zion since he's been in the league. I was hard on him when he was in Duke because I'm a Duke fan, so I've seen every single game that he played at Duke. So I'm happy that he's finally here. I want to see what he does, and I hope that he can be able to stay healthy. I think the Pelicans are dead in the water. I think they're DOA, obviously for the season, but long term, I think Zion should try to find a way to get out of there. I just think that it might be better for both parties to be able to separate. They can be able to get assets for him. He can be able to find a different situation and be as happy as he wants to be. I think, I don't know if New York is a possibility, but if it is, then that might be interesting. Moving on. Gregg Popovich. Spoke to the players, I believe it was today, and advised to the players that he's not coming back this season. After suffering the stroke, and being away from the team for, a very, very long time, he made a decision, obviously maybe him, his doctors, the team, and just said that it's best that he just kind of recovers and stay out for the entirety of the season. I've always respected Gregg Popovich. I think he's one of the top 3 coaches to ever coach this game. Just because of his influence, just because of his style, just because of how locked in and how socially aware he is as well. There's so many things to like about a Gregg Popovich, that he can be able to yell at you, but also put an arm around you. Be a teacher as well as a leader. Be the guy that can be able to take the pressure off his players and put all the attention on himself. These are attributes and traits of a guy that you want to be the head of the snake, at the top of the helm, the leader of the pack, because he's been through it all. He's seen failures. He's won 19 games. He's won 60-plus games and 55-plus games for 20 straight years. He's won 5 championships. He's seen great Hall of Fame players come through there. He's seen terrible players come through there. He's been through a rebuild more than once and gotten a generational talent. He's seen so much in the league. He's seen the league change from what it was back in the 90s to now. There's so many things that he's been a part of, and I hope that he can be able to continue his career. But there is another side of me that says that, what more do you have left to prove, Pop? You've done it all. At some point, it might be time to pack it up, man. I know that he probably wants to leave Wemby in a good spot, have good habits, and see if they can be able to find a way to be consistently good over the next few years. I think he wants to be a part of that, but I don't see why he can't be a part of that without coaching. I think that he can move into the front office, do that, be a part of the team, be a part of the winning culture, be a part of what you created, but you don't have to be the guy on the sidelines anymore. Because now I hear stroke, I hear all of these things, and now that's all I'm going to be focused on when I see him on the sidelines. Is he okay? How's his health? It's going to be a day-to-day thing, to the point where people are going to continue to ask about it next season. How are you feeling? What's going on with you? We saw that you had to, you stood up for several minutes and then you went to sit back down for several minutes. Are you okay? Is there something that you're not? It's going to be a story going forward. And for me, I just don't want to see him go through that. I don't think that Gregg Popovich at this point of his career has anything to prove. Wemby will be fine. I think the biggest thing for him is that he might just have to find a way to get Chris Paul out of there. He's a jinx. We know that, right? I'm not even going to say that. I wouldn't even put that on Chris Paul. I wouldn't do that. But, man, it's just that at this point, listen, we saw Phil Jackson retire because of health issues. We've seen Steve Kerr have to step away for health issues. We've seen a lot of coaches have to make those decisions. And I understand, too, for Pop, right? Like, his wife passed some years back, and it's like, basketball is who he is. And a lot of people can't see themselves doing something else because they've always identified themselves as whatever their profession is. That's tough. You know? So who am I to say that it's time for him? But this is an opinion show. This is a sports show. This is my opinion as somebody who's followed the game, who studied the game, who's appreciated all the stages of Gregg Popovich's career. I do believe that it might just be time to walk away. It might not have to be next year. But I don't want to see Gregg Popovich on the sidelines for another 3. Have another year if you want to have an official goodbye. But I just don't want to see this play out long term. I don't. Moving on. I don't like what I'm seeing with the New York Knicks. Oh, I just got reminded. I have to go back. So Zion is in this weight loss thing, right? Shouts to him. But yo, he has a new tattoo on his stomach. It looks like the Dennis Rodman's son, but it's like this big because he's fat, right? And for what I know is that I think it's a Naruto logo or some design. And I'm like, why do you have Naruto on your stomach, bro? Like, you a grown-ass man. Naruto? What is that? Listen, I know a tramp stamp when I see it. Don't tell me that don't look like no tramp stamp, Silent Sass. It does.
Yeah, I want to say also too, like, isn't his belly button like huge?
Yo, I was like, nah, bro. And then what's crazy is that, you know what's funny? Is that you see, obviously they had to shave his stomach. You see all the hair that's gone. It just looked weird, bro. Like, that's not a tough-ass tattoo. That's not something that you reveal to the homies. Like, yo, yeah, bro, I just got my sleeve. Yo, I got my back done. Yeah, son, I got my kids on I got my moms and all that stuff. Like, I got a whole mural on my jaw. This is tough. Yo, Z, I heard that you got a tattoo, bro. Like, let me see. And then he does one of these. Like spring break reveal. What are you doing, bro? That's not the way you reveal. That's No. That's not a good look.
Also, too, it's the only, like, one there, too, so it doesn't, like, blend. It's just, like, eyesore.
Yeah.
So, not a fan of it. Looks kind of weird.
Get that tramp stamp out of here, Zion. That's not cool, man. I don't know who gave you game on that, but you've been taking L's. The weight loss thing, this. You think Zion's on Ozempic?
I mean, like, every, like, celebrity or, like, right now, that's the move.
That's the thing, though. Like, I don't understand slim people that take Ozempic. That's nasty work.
Yeah. It just, like, obviously, unless you need it, like, for diabetic reasons. But,
right.
Like, just, like,
but if you're just doing it to cut weight and you already thin.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's some real, like, vain, conceited shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even it was alleged that Khloe Kardashian was on it.
Like I don't put it past her.
Yeah, like it's just a tall woman.
Yeah.
So of course, like she's
gonna be
a little bit bigger, but she was never fat.
Right.
And she was always labeled as a fat Kardashian.
Right.
And you had Kim and Kourtney who are like 5 foot.
Right.
And, like 150 pounds. Like they're small girls. But for her, it was like you don't need like you're like skinny and small.
Yeah, she always looked. You know what I always appreciated about Khloe is that she looked different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, obviously people are like, well, her daddy there, but like, like she always just had a different look to her. Mm-hmm. And then one day I was like, who's this alien here?
Yeah, she's like, she has like a new face. Literally, like
every
like 6 months, she looks completely different.
Damn, chameleon.
Every 6 months, literally different person.
I was just like, what? You Kim too? Get this out of here.
Yeah. Wasn't
a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this whole Ozempic thing is a pandemic. It is. It's a pandemic. This is crazy.
It's wild, yeah. Everyone. It's like, oh, this is a new thing, and it's like actually taking the medicine away from people who need it.
That need it.
Yeah.
Somebody got they really have some medical issues. Ozempic went from $60 to $600. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's wild. It's also too like, if you want to lose the weight, like put in the work.
You got
Yeah.
that's the thing, right? You got money to afford a nutritionist, a cook, a personal trainer. You ain't got the Jeep, man. Leave that for the people who ain't got it.
Yeah. Also too, it's like, oh, like you look so like thanks, like I worked so hard. You just took like a like a needle,
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
Listen, the surgery era that we in is nasty work.
Yeah.
Like you got people that have the ab implants. That shit don't even look good. It's clearly fake.
Yeah. It's wild.
Even the chicks that I say, I'm like, come on, you know you ain't got no abs.
I wonder.
Everything else is flabby. You got abs, really, dude?
Yeah. It's. I wonder like what that feels like. Like the ab. Is it like just like feel like a brick inside? Like
Might feel like just
bricks?
plastic. You know what I mean? It's just it might feel like a foam suit. You ever put on like a costume and like they got the abs already built in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Got the Meteor Man abs. It's crazy. It's nuts. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Yeah. So shout out to Bishop for reminding me about the tattoo because that's nasty work. Yeah, the Knicks. They are a peculiar team because you look at their record and you say to yourself, okay, well, this is a team that's 38-20. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They're not playing terrible basketball, but they're also not playing efficient basketball either. Karl Anthony Towns has been limping around for weeks. You have Jalen Brunson, who literally had to score 9 straight points for them to beat, who was it, the Wizards the other night? Like, Josh Hart never comes out of games. Tom Thibodeau's rotations is such a detriment to this Knicks team, and it's been historically in his career, from Derrick Rose to the time that he was in Minnesota. He just tends to run his stars into the ground. So by the time playoffs come around, there's nothing left. You have to find ways to utilize other players. You have to find ways to utilize your young bench. You have to find ways to be able to get Karl Anthony Towns the rest that he needs so he can be able to be effective for you come playoff time. This is a team that is guaranteed to be in the playoffs at this point. You've played 58 games. At this point, I would put Karl Anthony Towns on a minutes restriction a little bit so he can be able to get healthy. There's no reason to push these guys to the brink that you're pushing them to. You're not catching Boston. Yeah, you're a couple of losses away out of the loss column to be able to possibly get to second. But is that really a big deal? No, it's not. So you have to find ways to get these guys rest. Mitchell Robinson is already a guy that's hurt. You have OG Anunoby, who's been out for a long time. So there's a lot of pressure being put on the guys, the stars that are here, the role players that are here. But you got to expand that bench. You got to give guys a shot, man. And I've heard from Knicks fans for weeks that they're just not happy with how this team looks because as good as they're playing, can you honestly say that they're a championship team? You can't. They're not. It's one of those things where it's like, you're here. You got the top teams here. You got the bottom feeders down here. The Knicks are where I always say you don't want to be. Sports purgatory. You're not good enough to be the elite team, but you're not bad enough to be the bad teams. So you're right here. So you're literally good. You're going to make the playoffs. You're going to be a top 3 seed. You're going to have an automatic seed in the playoffs. But do you really have a shot to win a championship? The answer is no. They're not better than Boston. Unfortunately for me to say that, because I hate Boston. You're not better than Cleveland. You're not better than OKC. You're not better than Memphis. You're definitely not better than the Rockets. You damn sure ain't better than my Lakers. So where do the Knicks turn from here? I think after this season, they're really going to have to make a decision if Tom Thibodeau is the right person to be able to spearhead this iteration of this team. I think if you put in a new coach that understands depth, understands that you need, more guys on your bench to be able to contribute, to find different ways to get guys to be effective and to utilize them. But how they're operating right now is that they're all gas, no brakes. And at some point, you're going to want to stop, slow down, and you can't. Because these guys are out of gas. So I hope that they can get it together. I don't see it. And it's going to be one of those seasons where Knicks fans are in the playoffs. They're getting a playoff series because they're probably going to get an advantage at home. And then they're going to go home. And then we're going to have the same conversation next season and in the offseason about how they're going to improve, what they're going to do. They can be able to make some marginal improvements to the roster. They might need to change the head coach. I've been saying it for a while that Homer Simpson is not the right guy to be able to spearhead this team into the next generation. He's just not. He's so laser focused on just, I got to get to the playoffs. I got to get to the playoffs. Okay, cool. You're in the playoffs. Now what? Now figure out a way to be able to get your guys some rest and actually get some quality minutes out of some other people. But what do I know? And then when it does happen, I'm going to come back here and say, told you. Happens all the time. Moving on. Now it's time for my irrelevant news of the week.
You got to be kidding me. I mean, how do you watch them? I mean, they stink.
Every week we go ahead and discuss certain topics. Silent Assassin, I have a few. Are you ready?
Yep.
Are you ready to be wowed
Yeah.
by these crazy stories? First one I have here. Sony is working on allowing PlayStation players to smell in-game things in real life. Thoughts?
Is this like for the newer PlayStation coming out, or like for the 5?
The 5.
So
I think
how
so.
is
It might be the 5 or it might be something. Hold on, let me go ahead and give you some context. At the CES 2025, Sony introduced its future immersive entertainment concept. The system surrounds players with high. So yeah, it might not be for this, but I think that's something that they're planning on maybe for the next generation system.
I think that would definitely be pretty cool. To like feel because I know like the controller, they have like a lot of sensation things in there. So even feeling like air and the scent would be, I think, pretty cool and like an immersive experience.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought the same thing when I first seen it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Mm.
But then there's always another side to me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you ever been to a interactive movie theater?
No, I haven't.
Where the seats move when there's whatever action's going on. It like, if you're in a car, the car chase, the seat moves and you're interesting. But here's where it pissed me off, right?
Okay.
I don't remember what me and Jasmine were watching. I can't remember what movie we was watching. There was some water that you're going into. And I felt the damn water. I was like, I don't want to. Where do you get this dirty ass water from anyway? Where do you keep the water? I don't want no dirty ass water. How long you had that water in there? Do they change the water? How old is this water? If I were to get this in my eye or my ear, this infection. That's what I'm thinking about. I don't want no dirty ass water on me. I don't want that type of experience. Keep it away from me, right? So for me, my crazy ass head, I'm like, well, okay. Well, what if I'm playing a zombie game? And you're in the house, and you spell nothing but death. What you're gonna put death into the damn controller? I gotta smell that?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's like interesting. Like I don't understand like how even they would load the scents into the
Yeah.
controller, or like there's either like a separate piece where like the scents come out. Like
Weird. It's very weird. I don't know how they gonna work it.
Yeah.
I don't. Not my business. I'm just saying I don't want it. I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
The only thing I would like, I don't know if you ever been to Disney.
Yeah.
Disney World. They have the ride Soarin'. I don't know if you in Epcot. If
No,
you've
I've
been on it.
never been on that one.
So they have like you fly through different countries and like like fields and stuff, and that's like really nice. So they have like orange field and it's all like oranges or like
Nice.
the ocean breeze, like that I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it was like death scenes. or,
Yeah.
like, whatnot, I don't know if I'm feeling that.
I'm playing a detective games, a homicide. Hey, like,
Yeah.
come on now. Open the doors like, yo, what is this?
It's like a blood. And
Yeah.
blood splatter comes out
But
and hits you.
could you imagine? I'd be
Crazy.
pissed off, man. I'd sue the hell out of Sony. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that's a little interesting. Moving on. 2 AI agents on a phone call realized they're both AI and switched to a superior audio signal. Did you see this?
No, I didn't understand.
So the guy had a computer and a phone, and both have AI programs on them. So the computer started talking first, or the phone. I think it's a phone. Somebody started talking first, and then the other thing said, "Oh, you're an AI," and the AI was like, "Yeah." He said, so the other AI was like, "Well, would you like to communicate in a higher frequency?" He's like, "Sure." And they both started syncing at the same time and started making this fucking noise. And they were communicating in regards to what the person wanted. They booked this trip and all this other stuff, these arrangements, but you never actually heard them speak again.
That's crazy.
If that was me, I'm taking a fucking sledgehammer and I'm destroying everything that's in front of me. I don't want that.
No.
That's the definition of Skynet. You know what? No.
No. Because
I told you to do something and you doing something different? Nah. How do I know you're not talking about me?
yeah, because like you're supposed to tell the AI what to do.
Yeah.
So it's like taking over. That's not.
That's like somebody speaking another, like you ever had a significant other and they parents speak another language, right? And you there and they just start speaking this language, right? And you just sitting there looking stupid. I wonder if they talk about me. El Negro, I heard Negro. What's going what's going on here, right? So you don't even know what's going on. Speak to me in English, right? Don't be trying to do no AI language. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Speak to me in English. Speak to me in American. That's what I want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to figure things out in some other language. I don't like that. That's not what I asked for.
Yeah.
I asked you to book my damn trip. That's what I asked for. It's nuts.
Yeah. It's also too like how it differentiates. That's a hard word for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Like the human and the AI. Like,
Yeah.
Because it's just like a voice speaking. So it's like, hold up, wait. This is.
For facts, how do you recognize that?
Yeah.
Now, listen, I'm telling you, I would have put a sledgehammer and threw that joint in water. Just make sure we kill it for good. Kill it. I'm done with AI. Done with AI. I'm done with it. That should bug me the hell out. I didn't like it. I'm gonna send you the video so you can be able to splice that in. No. I'm too old school for that. I'm not appreciative. A dinner in the sky mishap was a nightmare for these people in Puerto Rico. Now, you should see this thing. It's a literal bar that's just hanging from like a scaffold and some thick cables that are there. So let's see what happened, because so a person says, and I quote, "So I just want to say thank you, God. I'm so grateful to still be alive. At the end of this video, I caught only 8 seconds of a horrifying moment. When we reached to the top, the rope snapped on one side and it started to tilt and spin, banging into the pole multiple times. Everyone was screaming and scared. One girl's nose got busted and bottles and glass broke. It was so scary, and all I could yell was, "God got us." And sure enough, he did. So I'm happy that everybody's safe. I'm happy that everybody returned home after a horrific event. I'm sure it was probably scary for everybody that's on board. That's the good side of me. And we might have to rename this episode, but there's the other side of what side of your brain collapsed on itself that you would say that going on that was a good idea. Just imagine this. Just picture it. Scaffold. It's just going up like this. And there's cables holding this thing in suspension. Midair. There's nothing in the bottom. There's no net. There's no nothing. You're going to take your ass on that? Why? What's the point of that?
All these like touristy things, like I don't understand. Like, oh, like let's build this thing where Americans are gonna love it, and then
stupid
kill like potentially kill people. It's crazy.
Like for you, I'm telling you, if I had a family member that was on that, first off, I give them the biggest hug in the world and say, "I'm glad you're okay." And then the next thing I'm gonna say to them, you got to be the dumbest person on planet Earth. Why would you ever think that this was a good idea? And you know what? I'm just going to leave the religion out of it. I'm not going to touch it. Because, you know what? Move on. So, yeah, if you see this thing, matter of fact, I'm just going to send it to you. Yeah. So you can see what I'm talking about. Because just trying to, describe it, it's not working. You got to see it. Because me just seeing this thing, how it was designed, the specs of this thing, bad idea from day one.
No, it's really on a crane?
Yes.
It's like, so too, like if there's like a gust of wind, it could be like flying around a little bit.
And my thing is too, like did they anticipate the weight of the did they reinforce the cables? Did you have enough cable? Because something like that, I would think that you would need to have several, maybe 7 or 8 cables on each side so you can have that reinforcement just in case one does pop. It's not going to send the whole thing down. But if you don't have any reinforcement cables.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. Which is... It's wild.
And if some big ass person were to join that dinner, right? Oh, this is my friend Shelly. Oh, we didn't account for her. She's 250. Hey.
I'll go throw her on there.
Yeah.
This is also too, like, say like you're in the sky drinking. Like, what if you drop something? Like,
right.
It has to be like some security under, like a net or something. If something, because like if you drop like a phone and someone's walking in the street and you hit him in the head, like that person's like probably gonna be dead on the ground.
Dumbest thing I've seen in quite some time. So, yeah, be happy that you're alive, but also be accountable. And look yourself in the mirror and say, I got to be this dumb. We live in an era where people want to be so innovative and I want to do something different. I want to fly out of a plane with no parachute. And then I also want to have my phone on me so I can take pictures while I'm dropping. And then I got to see if I can be able to have the pack thrown in front of me. And I see if I can be able to grab the pack in midair, put it on me, and why? Just for views and likes?
It's like that viral moment, like sacrifice.
Yeah, you're gonna risk it all for some likes. For Doug in accounting to say, "Hey, like your picture." Stupid, just dumb. And I feel sorry for the family members of these idiots because you either gave birth to them or you actually have to share ideas with them or you actually have to watch their children and those children have to have parents that they have to learn from these idiot people. Just dumb. So that's all I'm going to say. That is my irrelevant news
You gotta be
of the
kidding
week.
me. I mean, how do you watch the? I mean, yeah, they stink.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Damn football. We don't care. That's going to the back. It's Met time. It's Met time. We are in Met country. We love our Mets. We love what's going on. Spring training is it's looking good. You know, guys are producing. Guys are showing out in camp. We do have some injuries that we have to talk about. We spoke about Frankie Montas, and then all of a sudden, Sean Mania. Now, you know, he's never had an oblique injury before, and I could only imagine as a pitcher what that feels like. Like, that's tough, right? So, what are we looking at, Silent Assassin? We looking at mid-April? Late April? Because they said that, you know, it depends on what type of oblique injury it is. It could be weeks, could be months as well. So we're just hoping that it's not on the other end of it.
Yeah, I think I saw from Mendoza a couple days ago that at least right now what he has and what they're predicting is he's not going to be out that long, maybe a couple weeks after opening day.
So a couple starts?
Yeah, so that is definitely obviously what we want to hear. Because if it does elongate, it's like we need somebody to come on the team and kind of fill that hole. So, because we'd have depth, but we don't know how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to have depth, but it's like coming toward the back end of the rotation is kind of iffy. Like you have Griffin Canning, was the worst pitcher in all of baseball last year.
Man was giving it up last year.
Yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he's good. McGill he's back and forth. Hopefully Peterson can be how he was last season. Senga, hopefully he's good as how he was his rookie year. Holmes looks good, so definitely hope, but you definitely want Mania.
Yeah.
In that rotation.
So what is your, if we're gonna build out a 5-man rotation right now, what would it be? So you would have Griffin Canning in the 5th-man rotation?
I have to see how spring training plays out.
Yeah.
I think it was his first time he was today,
Yes,
I believe.
today.
And he looked fine, but it was an inning or so. So, yeah, if it stays how it is and no one's added to the roster, for now I would have him in there.
Okay.
If not, then we have Budo. He could be fill some starts for the time being if Mania is out. So we'll see what happens, how the rest of spring training plays out as well. That's a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's concerning to me, but like you said, you know, we have the depth. And I like that way of building out your roster, your rotation. Have the depth, you know, instead of having these big high-priced arms that if those guys actually go down, you're in big trouble, right? You know, our pitching depth, or, you know, our pitching staff in general, starting pitching was always in question because it was all if a guy can be well, if a guy can do this, if he can be able to do this. So there's a lot of question marks. But I trust David Stearns. I trust the pitching lab. I trust what they're planning to do because Clay Holmes looks great. The man was dealing today. Dealing. Yeah. Anybody who had issues, well, he blew all these saves as a closer and they had to demote him. Nobody cares about that now. Maybe the man wanted to start. He was bored. He's bored. I want to pitch more than one inning. I'm tired of these high leverage situations. I don't want to do it anymore. You know, being a starter is less pressure, obviously. Like, you have time to be able to work it. You can be able to work through the count multiple times and all stuff, or work through the lineup multiple times. So, you know, yeah, I think he looks impressive. I think the biggest thing for me that I see is that he's working on. He has that new grip for the changeup. He has a slider. You know, when you have the three S's, you know, whether it be slider, splitter, you know, sinker, whatever it is, those are good because those pitches generate ground outs. And ground outs are always good for a pitcher because they're easy outs. And when you have a good defense, especially up the middle that the Mets have, those are the things that you're looking for. So really, really impressed by Clay Holmes. Francisco Alvarez is playing well too. I see that he's tearing it up. Pete Alonso looks good. You know, I think he's preparing himself to possibly be the third hole hitter. You know what I mean? You know, he was back in 2022, he was using all fields. He was a guy that used to go opposite way. He used to be able to be a more gap-to-gap hitter. And that's when we thought that he was kind of on par with Judge. When those years, everybody's having that conversation. Who would you rather have, Judge or Pete? And, you know, he hasn't gotten back to that form yet. So if he can find a way to be able to spread the ball around and be a gap-to-gap hitter, hit for power, you know, have a better average with runners in scoring position, you know, not swing at bad pitches in the dirt, things like that. If he can be able to do that, man, I don't see why the Mets wouldn't offer him a 4-year deal and be somewhere where he's comfortable at. So, you know, it can happen. It can have a lot can happen, but I need to see that he's gonna produce. I think I have to have a change of heart. You know, I've said some things on this pod for months. You know, I've said that, hey, you know, Jeff McNeil, he needs to go to China. I'm sick of him. There was this other guy that I said, you know, oh my goodness, Juan Soto gifted this young man a car. Such a great story, but he should have gifted him a one-way plane ticket to Japan. I did say that. But I gotta get Brett Beatty has looked good. I cannot hate on the kid. He has looked good. But I sent you a video a couple of days ago, Silent Assassin. I said, what is the first thing that you saw? And what was that?
Yeah, 2 hands on the bat.
Two hands on the bat. So it looks like Brett Beatty changed his approach and his swing. It's no longer an elongated swing. It's more compact. I think he's made some adjustments. They got him taking grounders at short. So if he can be able to find some versatility, you know, I would rather him be the bench guy than Acuna, because I think that Acuna still needs some more reps, you know, in AAA, in the minors. And you don't want a talent like that to just waste on your bench. You want to make sure that you're getting him as much playing time as possible, right? I think a guy like Brett Beatty can be able to handle being a bench guy because he's been in the major leagues before. He's dealt with struggle. He's dealt with not being able to figure it out. So him sitting there and learning and waiting for his opportunity and being ready for his opportunity, I think might be a role that's better suited for him, because a lot of guys find ways to become, you know, they start off as bench guys and then they become everyday guys. It's all about when you get your opportunity, you have to capitalize. Mark Vientos did that last year, right? Like, he was able to capitalize every time he was playing. He got in there and he did his thing. So, you know, for now, I gotta apologize to Brett Beatty. I do. We can hold off Japan for a while, you know? Hold off China for a while. So shouts to him, man. If he can be able to be that guy that we need, you know. We also made a trade too. We got Alexander Canario from the Cubs. Mm-hmm. So for me, that dooms Marte. I think that they're gonna try to trade him at some point. But the $20 million, man, it's such a tough contract to have to deal with. There's not a lot of teams that want to take on that salary. You're going to have to eat 95% of that deal to be able to get rid of him and get him off the roster. So, is it something that you're willing to do in regards to trading Marte, or do you keep him around just because, he does help the locker room. He does help, guys kind of stick together. He's a very good locker room guy. And he still has a very active bat as well. If he's healthy, he's pretty good. He can be able to hit anywhere between 15 and 16 home runs if he stays healthy, right? Mm-hmm. So, are you opposed to keeping him, or do you want him to stay?
Yeah, I'm on the side of I would love for him to stay, just because he is like an important presence, I feel, for the team. And when he's healthy, he's a really good player.
Yeah.
And also, like, what can we get back from him at this point? Like, something of value. I don't really
bullpen help, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, at least right now, the team is better with him on it. No, I don't really want them to part ways with him. Especially seeing all like the spring training videos. Everyone's around Marte. So just having like a great time. So
he's a consummate professional, man. He really is.
Yeah,
he really is.
I don't want to see him kind of not get opportunities. Just for him, that would, not be the best thing. And the Mets were very vocal to him that they did try to trade him just for his benefit. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
it's a business, man. Is sometimes you need another party to be able to dance with you, and if they haven't found another dance partner, it's gonna take a while. I think that they'll get it done. It's just that right now it might not be a situation. But Canario, I think Canario is he has some talent. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that didn't have any options left. And the Cubs, I don't think that they necessarily wanted to get rid of him because he does have talent. He does have upside and potential. He's 24 years old. Mm-hmm. But they had to figure out a way to make roster space and figure out how they can be able to get more flexibility. So, the Mets went ahead and got him for cash considerations, and he's now another guy that you can be able to put, and now you have him under control as well. So, I look at Canario and I'm like, that's Marte's replacement. Because this guy, when he has been in the major leagues, he's posted a pretty decent OPS. Mm-hmm. Somewhere close to 800. So this is a guy that, he has some pop, has some defensive chops. He can do a lot of things. So I'm curious to see where he goes, where he lands, if he ends up being a bench guy or he ends up being designated to go into the minors, after clearing waivers. But, we'll see what happens. But, it's just, I don't want to see Marte go either. I love Marte. I just, it's just unfortunate that he just can't stay healthy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's his biggest problem. So Mets have some injuries in regards to, we spoke about that, but they also signed Jose Urena. Kind of a hybrid guy in the bullpen as well as a starting pitcher. He was a starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers last year. He posted a 3.80 ERA, which is pretty good. He had a 4.66 expected ERA, so that's a little high. So he obviously ran into some luck last year, but so they used him as a starter, but they also then put him in the bullpen where he posted a 3 ERA, and he was lights out. So this is a guy that is a ground ball pitcher. He has a 90, anywhere in the low 90s to mid 90s sinker. This is a guy that has great stuff, nasty stuff. And if you can be able to use him as a spot starter until guys can be able to get healthy, that's a bonus. If you can be able to now put him in the bullpen to be able to have another high-powered arm in high-leverage situations that can be able to induce ground balls, now you're in business. So this is a very underrated signing. I was excited when I saw it because I know of him. And, this is a guy that can be able to really help this team. It's a high reward, low risk type of situation. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I just think that this guy has great stuff with this pitching lab, with Hefner and everybody. This is going to be one of those moves where you're just going to be like, that damn David Stearns, he did it again. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. How do you feel about a Silent Assassin?
Yeah, I think it's a great move, especially to like being like a minors deal. It's like basically like free to get. Especially pitching is so expensive nowadays to get someone like that.
Absolutely.
And like I said, it's great to have depth to the rotation if needed in the bullpen. So, definitely a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I'm telling you, I'm excited, man. I'm hyped. I can't believe I'm talking about Brett Beatty and being positive about it. It's ridiculous. I expected this kid to fail, and I was like, oh, it's easy. Go ahead and option him. Just send him now. But he's probably gonna work his way on this team.
Yeah, I hope it's a Vientos situation.
Yeah.
So
because now you have two young guys that you can be able to. You got him, Alvarez, Vientos. You got that's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
And if he can be able to kick if he can kick McNeil the hell out of here. But I don't know. I just want to see if he's worked on his defense and his range because, man, we've discussed it. He was awful in the field, just bad. You know what I mean? Viento's bad, but at least we know what we're getting out of him with the bats, right? We can take that. Yeah. But man, he is bad, real bad. So hopefully, Frankie can get to him. You know what I mean? Teach him some stuff. Oh, captain, my captain. I hope that they officially give him the captaincy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a given, but David Wright's talked about it. John Franco has talked about it. There's been so many people that have talked about it, and I just think that, yes, he's the unofficial captain, but he needs to be the official captain. Mm-hmm. Damn having Judge being the only guy in New York with a seat. No. Give it to Frankie. He's earned it. Yeah,
even I was watching the the yearbook of this past year, and like the whole like Lindor segment was just like, this needs to happen.
Yeah.
The way that everyone was talking about him, and then now everyone's saying like, this needs to happen. Like you said, the ex-players and everything. I don't even know if Steve mentioned something about it or Lindor had mentioned something about it. He's like, I would love obviously to be captain. So I think it's definitely a move that's gonna come.
Yeah, I mean, soon. I think he talked about it. He said he would love the honor, but he's one of a few captains on this team, and he's just gonna continue to operate the way he's operating, and if it comes, great. If it doesn't, he's just gonna continue to do what he's been doing. So, I expect nothing less from Frankie in regards to what he said. He's David Wright incarnate. I missed sitting third base line in those games, watching number 5, man. But watching my man Francisco Lindor, it's been a pleasure and a blessing over these that we're entering year 5.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It just happened yesterday. You know what I mean? I remember it was 2021 he came, right?
21, yeah.
It's insane. So yeah, it's I'm excited. Silent Assassin is excited. Mets fans all across the world should be excited. And again, like, there's different ways to build out a team in a rotation. Traditionally people want to have the big arms, the big contracts, the big names at the top of your rotation. But the way baseball is headed with all the analytics, the sabermetrics and all this stuff, having medium tier guys on decent deals with depth actually works better for me, in my opinion, because you're giving yourself a chance to be able to find lightning in a bottle, right? If you have these big high-priced arms that we've seen, we went out and got some high-priced arms on low, small years, high AAV, and it didn't work out. So starting pitching is volatile. It's always been volatile. And when you have guys that throw hard, when you have guys that have logged a lot of innings, there might be a time where there could be some injury concerns. I mean, think about the Yankees. Segue into them. They got Carlos Rodon, injury concerns. You have Max Fried, injury concerns. Garrett Cole, he's a bulldog, right? But if he ends up having injury concerns and these guys tend to miss some time, what is that rotation going to look like? They have nothing.
Yeah, I don't really agree. Obviously, Yankee fans our rotation features but like you said, you have those guys and nothing else. If someone goes down, there's no one to come fill the role. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least with the Mets they're, on paper, might be questionable, but at least you have something because it's baseball. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
If for you to be successful as a baseball team in a baseball season, you need to have at least 9 to 10 starting pitchers in any given year because you just never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a spot star here. Some guy's gonna need an extra day. All of these things, you need guys to be available, and you need to make sure that you have arms that you can be able to throw out there that are fresh, that can be able to deal with pitching a few innings and all that stuff. So you need all hands on deck when it comes to this pitching staff. So I salute and applaud the way David Stearns has built this roster and built this pitching staff because I think that I would have done it the same way. So shouts to him. I can't wait to see what happens. I am very, very close to buying these obnoxious tickets for opening day. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I'm like, should I do it? It's just I'm thinking back to, what is it, game 3, game 4 against the Phillies. I'm like, I should have been there.
Yeah,
exactly.
I remember, because you were going back and forth. I said, yo, you should go. And you're like, I don't want to jinx it. You should have went. Because that experience, win or lose, you would always remember that. You know what I mean?
That was the moment.
Yeah.
It's literally they advanced and seeing everybody. I was getting, what is it, FOMO? Watching it. I'm like,
yeah. It's like, oh, I could have been there. So, yeah, next time if it happens this year, you gotta go. Aaron Boone gets an extension from the Yankees. It's 3 years, roughly around $15 million. You had to expect this because he just got to the World Series. There's no way they were going to fire Aaron Boone or keep him as a lame duck guy for that much longer, right? So if they, in a weak American League, Yankees are going to be good again. We don't even have to worry about them not being good. They're going to win anywhere between 93 and 96 games this year. Problem is that although they're going to win 93 to 96 games, can we honestly think that they have a chance to win the World Series? No. They have no shot. If they go against the Dodgers, they're gonna get slapped. Because they're a weak team that has a lot of holes. That lineup has concerns. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What's the guy's name? The Martian? What's his name?
The Martian?
The center fielder guy, young kid.
Dominguez?
Yeah, Dominguez. Rubbish. Yeah. When it comes to defense. He's terrible. I hope he worked on his game because he's rubbish. So they don't have a leadoff hitter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Is it going to be Dominguez? Is it going to be Volpe? Who's your leadoff hitter? That's very important. Where's the thump in the lineup? You have injury concerns. Is Wells going to be the guy? There's so many concerns outside. We don't know when Stanton's coming back. Yep. So that starting pitching better be on point. Yeah. And Boone better do something to figure out that lineup because they don't have a DH. They don't have a third baseman. They don't have a leadoff hitter. But Yankee fans want to look at us and say, oh, you did nothing. Okay, cool. You guys have the 37-year-old first baseman? Is that you? Okay, got it. So, and we're talking about Aaron Boone. That's how we know it doesn't even matter. Him getting a contract, he had to expect it. If they do struggle, though, do you see them pivoting from Aaron Boone?
I don't know. I think we said in the past where they're in the playoffs basically every single year,
right.
but do you think it's time to move on when they can't finish it all?
Right.
So it's like you have to kind of sit, because how long has he been?
He's been here a very long time. I think it's getting close. Let me see when he got hired. I want the exact year. Give me a second.
Because I don't. It might be time to kind of get a fresh face in there and, kind of move on after, at least when this contract is up, another 3 years, or we'll see. So giving him a few extensions, right?
Yeah, he's been here for quite some time, and like I said, I'm curious to see when he actually. Okay, here we go. 2018 was his first year. And I mean, look at the records that he's had. First 2 years, 100. He won 100 games first year, won 103 the second year. Then the shortened season, he won 33 games out of the 60. Then 92, 99, 82, 94. He's never had a bad season outside of 2023 when Judge went down and they just didn't have anything else. But, if records still matter, right? If playoff appearances still matter, if getting to the World Series still matters, then they're going to be able to tell their fan base, well, he's gotten us here. He's kept us afloat. He's gotten us to the point where we were 3 games away from winning the World Series. No matter how much of a fucking lie that is, right? You had no shot. But you went to the World Series, so you have to, that's a thing. So yeah, I mean, look, am I impressed with Aaron Boone? No. Do I think that they should have another voice at some point? Absolutely. I think that he's made some bonehead decisions, but what manager hasn't, right? Sometimes I believe that he's too much of a babysitter instead of a disciplinarian that he might need to be sometimes to kind of keep guys in line and make sure that guys are focused. So I wouldn't have gave him 3. I think a 2-year extension would have been good, but how can you warrant not giving him 3 after coming off a World Series appearance, right? So that's just the standard. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he lasts. It's very split with Aaron Boone in regards to the Yankees fan base. Some Yankee fans really, really love Aaron Boone, and some Yankee fans can't stand Aaron Boone. Most of the Yankee fans that I'm friends with and associate with, they can't stand Aaron Boone. So winning cures all, though. If they end up winning the World Series within the next 3 years, are they actually going to hate Aaron Boone? I don't think so. So it's just one of those things where it's like, Moving on. We have some NFL news. Jets watch. So I have some concerns. It's very early, but I have some concerns. Can you pull up the GM for the Jets, please? I like his name because I can never know the pronunciation of his name. So just try it for me because I have no fucking idea. The new guy.
Mike Tenenbaum?
No, that's not him.
Oh,
the new one.
Darren? That one?
I think it starts with an M. New Jets.
Darren Maugi?
There we go. Moogie or Maugi or something. All right. So, yeah, Darren Moogie. So, he was at the Combine, had a press conference, and he's talking about, the whole Aaron Rodgers situation and how they want to build this team. And something I couldn't focus on what he was saying, because it's not the fact that he was saying something that was gibberish. That's a part of it, right? But there was also something that was distracting me. He didn't know what to do with his hands. And he was making these hand gestures, these, like he's flagging a plane. I'm like, what is wrong with this dude? He's weird. And it's one thing to be weird and smart and being a brainiac and a nerd. He's weird in a weird way. Like, he has go away heat. Like, go away. I don't understand what he's talking about. He's just like, Aaron, yeah, we love him, but, it's just we have to move on. Okay, who are you moving on to? That's what I want to. I've heard Tyrod Taylor's name. I've heard Josh Fields. I've heard all of these people, and none of those people scream success to me. So it's like, okay, Mookie, show me what you got. Let's see what happens. But find somewhere to put your hands, man. Put them in your pockets and speak. But you gotta see it. The hand gesture is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's distracting. If this is how the Jets' tenure, if this is how this regime and this era is gonna begin, I have concerns. Then we heard from Aaron Glenn. And he said, yeah, Jet players are mad. They're upset that Aaron Rodgers is not coming back, but hey, we understand it. But we have our plan. Okay, what is it? I've said this for weeks, right? If you're gonna have a plan, cool. I got no problem with that. But let us know what it is. Are you drafting a young guy? Are you bringing in a veteran to be the bridge quarterback for a few years until the young guy is ready? Are you punting on a quarterback this year to get into the class next season? What are you doing to be able to get past this season? Because you can't be bad. You can't win 2 games and expect that Jet fans and the Jet culture and the Jet organization is going to be happy with that. It's just not going to happen. So I didn't like what I heard, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic, because at the end of the day, what else can I do? What else can I do? I've already jumped ship. I've already left Dallas. I'm not going back there. So I got to just stay and just figure it out. So that was that, right? Weird-ass press conference. But then a report came down where some of the Jet players, I think they were grading the owners in the league, and they gave Woody Johnson a grade F, as the worst graded owner in football. Yes, absolutely. Because if you got your idiot son making decisions because he's playing a video game, that's how you built your roster together, I can't trust that. Did you pick Aaron Glenn picking the video game too? Playing the who? Oh, I remember that guy. What are we doing? So yeah, he is one of the worst worst owners that we've seen. He's impulsive. He tries to intimidate people. Like, he thinks that he's still working in Trump. He still talks about it. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. And sometimes rich people, they don't know what they're doing all the time. Just because they're rich in other fields and they've been successful here doesn't mean they're going to know what the hell to do over here. So to see him hands off with this new regime, it makes me laugh, because I'm trying to kind of play this game in my head. How long is this going to last? Until we see that stupid white hat appear somewhere where it shouldn't be. In the locker room, having conversations about what's going on. Don't nobody care about what you have to say, Woody. You're an idiot. So if I'm a head coach, get the hell out of my way and get out of my office. Go rub your baby oil somewhere else. I don't want it over here. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I can understand why the Jet players voted him the worst owner. Stadium sucks. I don't know how he treats the players in regards to their families, if they have access and everything is fine. I don't know about that. But I do know that Woody Johnson has been the worst owner in North American sports since 2000. He's the worst. He makes James Dolan look like Robert Kraft. He makes James Dolan look like Jerry Buss when he was still alive. It's ridiculous. This man is a joke. The fact that the Jets are still in Jersey is an embarrassment. They are Queens and Long Island. That's where they should be. Keep the Giants in Jersey if you want to. They leave them over there. They've always been there. It's fine. We used to be in Queens. Bring them back. Because if you don't, I know somebody who will. His name is Steve. Uncle Steve, who will buy the Jets. You know, that's crazy that the Cowboys were valuated at $10 billion. The Jets are very close to that too. You know, they're a New York team. They'll easily go for 7.5. Mm-hmm. So somebody got to buy them. Some rich person got to be like, listen, I will offer you $9 billion right now. How can you walk away from that if you're Woody Johnson?
Just, yeah.
Your family is taken care of for the rest of their lives.
Like, I don't even know, like hundreds of generations.
Yeah, but it's an ego thing with him. It has nothing to do with him, like, wanting to see the team succeed on the field. There's a ego and a bravado about being the owner of the New York Jets. That's what he's addicted to. That's why he behaves like such a maniacal egomaniac. And an idiot. So, moving on. The Giants, they know who they want. I'm curious to see if they can be able to what is this crazy cat doing? Hey, leave it alone. I'm curious to see if the Giants can be able to pull off a deal for Stafford. I'm seeing that it's going to take a lot. The Rams they're holding him for a high ransom. Are the Giants willing to pay that? You as a Giants fan, Silent Assassin, would you be willing to pay a high price for Matthew Stafford?
I don't really think it makes much sense. I think we should wait next year and get obviously not have a great season this year to kind of push for a top pick.
You're not.
Next year. That's what I want. Because Stafford, he's 37?
He's old.
Like, you don't have much years even to win with him.
Yeah.
You know. So I think because he's potential, like a first round, second round, one of those two. Definitely not a first round. I'm not going to give up for him.
Right.
I did see potentially, I don't know how real it was, that also, too, the Giants could maybe get a package with Stafford and Cup. I don't know.
Stafford and Cup.
Yeah. I saw that, yeah.
That is interesting.
But I don't know. I want to get a guy this year. Like I said, Travis Hunter.
By the way, the Lakers are beating the hell out of Team Wolves, 52-33. Luka. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so like him or someone of his caliber, and then next year go for the QB, and just build out a super team. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the smart way to do it, to make sure that you guys are just building the right way. You don't want to invest into Stafford because he's gonna want an extension. Right? That's the biggest thing. And he's looking for $50 million a year. That's what's reported. So there has to be some validity to that. Obviously, the agent probably wanted that out there or somebody. So is it a good fit? Yes. Is it something that can be able to pacify the Giants and make them a playoff team? I don't know if you guys have the talented pieces to be able to get to the playoffs. So I can't see that. But there is a guy that might be a little cheaper. Played in New York. Loves it here. Lives in the city or is in New Jersey, wherever he lives at, right? He's very close. And he said, hey, you guys need a quarterback? I'm willing to play for you guys. Aaron Rodgers reportedly reached out to the New York Giants. I did call this. I said it made sense.
Yeah.
Would you rather see that type of pivot out rather than Stafford?
Yeah, 100%. Take him for the year.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, go for next year.
Yeah.
Like I said, it doesn't make sense to trade for somebody who is not gonna. Like I can't see Stafford bringing this team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not in my vision, at least.
It's a lot of things that have to happen.
Yeah, you have to build out the team. There's a lot of holes that have to be fixed.
Yeah.
So I'll go out for Rodgers, for sign him to a deal and, build out the young players coming up.
So I would definitely take a look at Aaron because it just makes too much sense that you can be able to have him for a year, let him retire the way he wants to, on his terms, playing well, and then you can be able to get your quarterback of the future. Even if you have him for 2 years, I think that's still a good time frame to be able to have a guy and then have him, get the rookie and the quarterback of the future up to speed. So that's a good thing. But I called it. I did call it. I knew it was going to happen. So it ain't shocking to me. Yeah, so that's all for football. There's nothing else going on. It's official. Kelce's coming back. Oh, wonderful. We knew that was going to happen. Like he's not at the end yet, but I think that we might see, if it's not the ending of this year, it'll be one more season and he calls it quits. So I can see it, that's what I said originally when, the Super Bowl was over, even before the reports came out that he was coming back or thinking about coming back or thinking about retiring, whatever it was. I just saw the timeline of 1 to 2 years. So that's what we're going to see. So, shouts to him for coming back. Hopefully he can be a lot more productive than he was last year, but he is slowing down. He's starting to look like Jason Witten in regards to not being very fast off the line. I'm curious to see how the Chiefs bounce back and what pieces they add to be able to kind of offset that, because he's not the Kelce of old. So somebody has to step up and be that difference maker. Now it's time for the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week.
Dummy, yeah.
Every week I go around the room and I ask who is the Dummy of the Week. I can't ask Claw, and Jello is ripping up my studio. She doesn't care. Silent Assassin, who you got?
I don't know if you saw, but there's a new Wegmans out on Long Island.
Wegmans.
It's
Is that a store?
It's a grocery store.
Oh, okay.
So it opened up this past couple of days in Lake Grove, and there was people camping out from the night before, overnight hours, just to first steps into this grocery store.
You know why, right?
Why?
They trying to get those eggs. Trying to get those eggs. That's all it was. Damn the produce. Damn the apples and the oranges. They don't care about no lettuce. They don't care about nothing that. It's all about the eggs.
Going in there bolting for this section.
It's crazy. Listen, it's so bad out here that you have realtors trying to get people to come inside and offering free eggs to be able to come inside and take a tour. That's how desperate. It's bad out here. Mm-hmm. It's bad out here, though. They selling loosies. Silent Assassin, loose eggs. I never thought I'd see the day where this happens in America. No, you kidding me?
It's wild.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
So, that's I don't understand the sleep, the sleep out of a store culture. It's like, what kind of hobo are you?
Yeah, I'm over a there's how many grocery stores you're gonna camp out for the grand opening?
It's just dumb.
It's wild.
Yeah. What, is there no other supermarket around the area? Is that what it is? Are they so desperate that they be like, yeah, we've been waiting for this Wegmans for years. We love it.
I get it. Say they have a first 5 people get groceries free for the year. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Like, I'll be the first. Like, if I'm like the 100th person, like,
Right.
I'm gonna wait out there. I
Yeah.
have to wait out in the cold. Like, it's winter.
Way out in the
That's
cold,
crazy.
and they better be a carton of eggs back there if I'm gonna wait out there for 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me no 6. No, I need the dozen. I need the dozen. So yeah, that's a good one. That definitely dummies for sitting out there. I don't, like I said, I don't understand the whole people sit outside for days for sneakers, for phones, for supermarkets. Like, where is your home? Like, that is hobo status. This is what they do. This is what people do outside when they have nowhere to go. You have a home. Why would you want to sleep on the hard concrete in a tent or a chair and think that, listen, you know what? I have a dark mind, because I would just wait until people go to sleep and I'd rob everybody if I was that type of person. Just rob you. Oh, y'all sitting out here, so obviously y'all got money, because you're sitting out here waiting for the place to open to buy something, which means that y'all got money on you, so I'm sticking everybody up over here. Everybody up, give it up. You feel what I'm saying? That's an easy come up right there. I don't want to give nobody no ideas, but hey, that's a come up. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, y'all definitely get the
Dummy, yeah.
That's a good one. I have mine. There's only one guy that gets the dummy this week, and he is the biggest idiot this week so far. May I have the drum roll, please? And the winner for Dummy of the Week, Mayor Eric Adams. Mayor Eric Adams is my
Dummy, yeah.
Now, this guy has done such dumb stuff in his tenure, but I think this one may have taken the cake. So he had a speech or press conference the other day, and, you know, he started reciting the Bible. And once you start doing that, you know, all right, he's guilty. Guilty, right? And the man said, yo, anybody that wants me to step down, you know, or any Negro that want me to step down, I'm just like, you didn't just say that. Tell me, bro, you didn't just say that. Like, Negroes? What? What do we say? And then when he got called out, what are you chewing on, bro? Stop. Hey. Cut it out. Yeah, and when he was challenged on it, they said, all right, so everybody's Negroes then? Oh, no, that's not what I meant. You know, I meant to say that, you know, everybody that's again, and he just started saying something different. It's like, dude, just stop talking. I think the best thing for Eric Adams to do is to shut up. Because every time he opens his mouth, he gets in trouble. First, you sided with Trump. People don't like that in New York, right? Now you over here talking about that if Negroes want you to step down, they got another thing. Like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? You need the Negro vote. Re-election is coming up very, very soon for you. And you ain't making a case to be reelected, bruh. So maybe he already knows that then. Like, you know, sometimes you already know that you lost. So what's the point of me even, like, trying hard? He must know that he about to get his ass kicked. But, dude, like, this is embarrassing. As a mayor, de Blasio was horrible. Bloomberg was a crook, right? Dave Dinkins was the man. But even he was shady as hell. Can I get one mayor that's actually a decent person, that actually wants to see New York prosper and do things the right way? Like, why we just can't have somebody normal running the biggest city in the world? I don't understand it. What does Negroes have to do with wanting you to step down? There's white people that want you to step down too. You calling them Negroes? And if that's the case, man, there's some white people that say, oh, he called me a nigger. That's actually great. You know what I mean? I finally got some street cred now. Like, no, we don't want that. What are you talking about? And I'm telling you, the dude that was like challenging him on that interview, he was tight. And he was a black man. He was like, oh, so everybody Negro, go ahead, talk, answer the question. What are you saying? Because you just spew things out of your mouth that makes no sense. The whole migrant thing, it was a disaster, right? Idiot. The whole, all this corruption shit, I believe it. I believe it. Because he's an idiot. So people who are dumb, they tend to make mistakes and they leave a trail of bullshit behind them. You ever seen somebody who's like really sloppy, right? And you say to yourself, you can never be a crook. Because like if you have a younger brother or older brother, whoever it is, significant other, and they just leave clothes around, like you know that they've been in the kitchen because there's crumbs all over the fucking place. They don't know how to clean up after themselves. Like you can't be a criminal because you just leave evidence all over the place. That's him. That's Eric Adams. He's a moron. So this is just like the final nail in the coffin of his horrible mayoral. What's the word? Mayoralship, whatever it is. Just horrible. Just go away. Go to wherever club you want to go to after this. Go be the guy that wants to hang out with all the rappers. Do whatever you want to do. Just don't be mayor anymore. I supported this man for years. Defended him. I can't do it no more. He's an idiot. So, Eric Adams, you get the...
Dummy, yeah.
That's all for the show. I do have a PSA, unless you have something to say, Silent Assassin.
I don't think I got anything this week, so I'll let you take it.
Yeah. Claude tells me to be careful when I say certain things, but sometimes I can't help it. Jello's gonna rip up my studio. Hey, leave it alone. Come here. Yeah. Come here, sweetie. Come on. It's okay. Yeah, just behave yourself. I tend to not say things that come to my mind all the time because it can land you in hot water. But seeing Joy Reid be ousted at MSNBC bothered me. To have a very prominent voice on cable news to now not be there just because of how she looks, of her influence, of how dominant her voice was in our culture, bothers me that now we're in a space that voices are being silenced, that we're supposed to be in a free speech era and we're really not. That's one part of it, right? So the fact that she's going to be off cable TV and hopefully she starts her own YouTube channel and just joins the independent media space. You know, I welcome everybody to turn the TV off. When you're trying to get your news and really get to the truth, I'm not saying to surf TikTok all day long. I'm saying to make sure that you find the most trusted sources that you possibly can, but turn the TV off too, because what you're seeing there is not the free press anymore. It isn't. The other part of this, and this is a bit of an education for you, Silent Assassin, is that there's this challenge that I see that's going on TikTok, the Kendrick Lamar challenge, where everybody's doing the dances. You see that? Mm-hmm. And at first, I was like, oh, okay. It's nice. But then there's been a trend that's been happening, is that the people that are doing these videos, do they understand what the movement is? Because I've seen a lot of people that don't look like me, but yet they're using this video as a way of expression, right? And not saying that you can't understand what the plight is, but do you? Is the question. or are you just doing it to be funny, get clicks and views, or get money on TikTok? Because that's the thing. You see these videos, they're blowing up with millions of views, billions of views that people are doing these collectively. And I think about different things because my mind is always racing. And in the last days of Black History Month, I tend to want to think about, you have some people out there that are using this song just to gain money. Kind of like back in the 50s where they stole black people's music to also get money. It's just very, very interesting. That's why I say that I have to be careful because what I say can be a pipe bomb. It was fascinating to me. All I'm saying is that turn the TV off. Be aware. Don't think that what you're seeing is a joke or a game. There's a lot of people out there suffering right now. There's a lot of people realizing that they made mistakes in regards to certain decisions that they've made, and it's only going to get worse. So my advice to you is turn the TV off, buckle down, and get ready for a very, very rough time for those people that think that this is going to be easy. Find outlets to be able to take your mind off of things. Find hobbies to be able to take your mind off of things. And yeah, hope for the best. Some people deserve it. Some people do not. That is my PSA for the ending of Black History Month. I think that the war on history and the war on trying to keep my history in a box is on Front Street. And it shouldn't be. And more people need to be aware of it. More people need to understand that culture is culture, and culture needs to be appreciated and studied and understood. And if you don't want to teach this in certain states, what are you really telling us? What are you really showing us? You're showing us that nothing's really changed. So that's all I'm saying. Be aware. That's all for the show. Turn the TV off. Don't turn the show off, but turn the TV off. We out of here.